All right, hey folks, wanted to start a pistol modification series. So this is the introduction, the general kind of overview stuff. When I say modifications, and I'll be mainly looking at Glocks, but it doesn't matter, whatever pistol you have. When I say modifications, it's everything from different sights to trigger jobs and cutting the slides and internals, reshaping the handle, flared magwells, the works. So I've got different guns in front of me of varying levels of modifications, but regardless, I want to go ahead and start with a story. And it's not a perfect story, lines up, but it's got a general principle, so don't troll me too much on it, but it's a fun little story anyway. My dad was kind of a punk when he taught me how to drive. We had a old Jeep Wrangler with just kind of an impossible clutch. He took me to the sharpest incline in the neighborhood, stopped the Jeep, put the e-brake on, got out, walked around and said, "All right, your turn, son." Kind of the worst nightmare for someone learning how to drive, much less on a stick shift, is getting stuck with a car behind you on a steep incline. Because as soon as you let the clutch out, the vehicle goes back. So it's really, really tough and really, really scary. And he chose, in his wisdom, to start me at the hardest level right there. It was a very frustrating day for me, grinding the clutch and stalling out over and over, very upsetting. But after just a short amount of time of hard work and figuring it out, I got the hang of it and I could do it. Now, once you can do, you can let the clutch out and go forward without just dropping back on a hill with a stick shift and on a difficult clutch, you can drive anything. You're not going to stall out at intersections and endanger your life for the passengers in your vehicle. All of a sudden, man, I had it. I was good. A lot of us with modifications, what we're trying to do is get to be good drivers without ever having to do kind of the hard work. And we do that with kind of, if I'm to continue the analogy, with getting easy, short clutches and only really kind of going on really flat ground. The difficulty I have with modifications, and by the way, just to settle any friction you've got, I'm pro modifications. Obviously, I've got guns with varying levels of modifications. But what I really want, and what's important to me, is I don't want to have to be glued to that gun of kind of like, yeah, I'm a good shooter with my gun with, all the feng shui little parts that I've got going on for it. That's not okay to me. I want to be able to pick up anyone's gun, even something I'm not even familiar with. I'm like, I just shot the CZP-10C, which was an amazing gun. And I shot it for the first time and I rocked it. I just owned that gun. I loved that gun. It was a fantastic gun. So anyway, I didn't have to relearn everything because, in the same way I learned how to drive, I learned with normal pistols. So what I want from everyone is to really, yay for modifications, you can get them, but please get training first. There's some training pieces, and it's hard to explain over a video, especially if you haven't been subjected to formal training in the past. But when I teach like the art of the trigger reset, and you have a trigger that's built like that's just barely got, any length to it, and it's very, very light trigger, that helps you immediately in the short run. But if you really want to learn how to reset a trigger properly, get the difficult trigger, the harder stock trigger, where you have to learn how to take up your pre-travel, ease the shot quickly off, back on, and all of a sudden in a flinch reaction, almost as it's like a flinch response of an on, easy. And if you can do that with a longer trigger, then when you upgrade to the modified trigger, you're like a stud. You'd go far farther than you ever would have by just going the modification. You get it? So yay for trigger upgrades. Yay for all kinds of stuff. And what I want to do in these different videos is go over the different pros and cons so that we can think about this. And my goal isn't to win you over to the school of John, to be exactly like me. I just want to provide information, give you the pros and cons as I see it, and leave it up to you to let you decide for yourself. What I will say, though, is modifications are no substitute for good training. Out of all the different professional shooters I rub shoulders with, that's why I travel around the country teaching firearms and tactics. That's what I do. That's my day job. I know of zero. If you asked them, they'd be like, "Hey, what's the secret to being a good shooter?" They're gonna be like, "You got to mod out your gun, man. You need a Cerakote job. You need all the bells and whistles. You need that." That's not what they're gonna say. They're just gonna training and hard work and balancing efficiency. And then yeah, they'll have little varying levels of modifications on their guns sometimes. Sometimes they'll just run stock, and whether they had the mods or not, they're still gonna be great shooters. Modifications. Let's be clear on what modifications do. They move hills, never mountains. If you're not a great shooter without your modifications, you're just never going to be a great shooter with your modifications either. Got it? They're meant to, training gets you from here to here, and then modifications go dink. And that can be a really good thing. So I'm not trashing them. I like them. I have them, and I recommend them. But get training first. And I wanted to go ahead and start this video series putting in context modifications. And that being said, onward to kind of episode 2 of this, where we talk about, I think we're talking about sights or triggers. Anyway, stay tuned. There's going to be a link. Don't be lazy. Just follow it. See you guys.